Do. Nickelodeon. And then we'll find out if all the trophies upload on the PS5 one. If all the trophies upload on the PS5 one. Mic check 1 2 1 2. If all the trophies upload on the PS5 one. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Do a mic check, Lou.
Hello, hello.
Do a mic check, Lou.
Hello, hello.
All right, Lou sounds sexy. We all sound sexy. Yo, what it do? GG Nation, GG Legions, your fella again. Straussman, the GG. Merry New Year. Happy New Year to all. I want to apologize to you guys and gals. I've been a little light on the work schedule here on YouTube and Twitch. But holidays were happening. If you guys want to know what I got Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and I got Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE. A lot of streams and stuff to come 2021. Hoping to have another pod next week for you guys with JJ and Lou. I wrote it up literally like 3 or 4 months ago, but the holidays came. But we wanted to talk about Sony First Party. But hey, welcome to GG and Friends podcast episode 400 billion divided by 2 squared. Actually, episode 54. We're going to talk about the big 3 in 2021. If you're new to this channel, the big 3 are Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. We're going to talk about all 3 of those. Maybe we'll dive into other studios if we have some time. I don't want to take too much of Lou's time here. But we're going to have a lot of fun. We're 4 days in, Lou, to the new year. How's it treating you so far? How you doing?
Pretty good. Nothing really different from last year, So, it's pretty good thus far, I guess you would say.
Well, besides your Xbox, but yeah.
Well, I really don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I know. But I hope you guys had a great holiday. Happy New Year to all. Make sure you smash the hell out of the like button. Comment down below about your big 3. What are they going to do? Oh, Lou dropped out. We're going to get him back in here in a second. There he is.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. It dropped you. Welcome back, my friend.
Oh, it's good to be back, I guess.
Welcome back, my friend. But hey, first podcast of this year. It's going to be really interesting what Lou and some of you guys think what's going to happen for this year in 2021. It's hard to believe we're only 4 days in, but we're going to discuss what we think about Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. I think Lou and I got a pretty good picture of definitely Sony. We're Sony heads on this channel. Somewhat of Nintendo. I'm interested to see what Lou says about Nintendo. And I think him and I, we're going to try to do our best detective caps for Microsoft here. But let's start off probably with what we know the most. Let's start with Sony and their year. We're just going to kind of go in gaming 2021 here to see what we think these companies are going to do, what they got planned. How you doing, Joel? How you doing? Let's start with Sony because it's probably the most familiar to us. You okay with that, Lou, or did you want to go reverse order? You there, Lou? I think you're on mute. Give him a couple seconds here. I'm assuming he'd be okay with us just starting with Sony. But I think we kind of know Sony's game plan. They had a really big, successful launch in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of scalpers out there still scalping PS5s. I know a lot of you are waiting for a PS5. Lou and I were very lucky to get one day one. JJ just got one as well. We're enjoying our PS5. Very much so. And I think it's going to be a real big year for PS5. But I actually am going to talk about something different first. I think there's going to be a lot of studio acquisitions for Sony. I think they're going to be bringing a lot of heat in terms of acquisitions. I think Remedy's still on the table. Possibly Kojima Studios is on the table. I really think they're going to get Blue Point. I mean, Demon Souls remake is fantastic. I need to finish it. I'm not there yet, but it is a fantastic game, and Blue Point has killed it with back-to-back remasters. I think, or I should say remakes. Sorry, back-to-back like shot-for-shot remakes. So I expect them to be picked up. There was that rumor a while ago that there was going to be that they were going to be picked up by Sony. Blue Point Studios is what I'm saying. They're going to be picked up by Sony, and that they're actually going to make a new IP. And that would be very interesting if they got the green light to do so. They've been very close with Sony. I don't think any of the big Japanese ones are going to be bought, Square, Capcom, or anything. Maybe possibilities, but I think there's a little more pipe dreams. I think Blue Point, Remedy, and possibly Kojima, smaller studios, are more likely to get picked up. What do you think about that, Lou? You there? Let me text him really quick because I can't hear.
I'm here. It just keeps dropping for some reason.
But, okay. Did you hear me at all?
Huh? Did
you hear me at all?
No, I did not. Repeat it again. That was the moment where it was dropping.
Okay. Well, I said I'm going to start out with actually, instead of the games and stuff, I started out with what Sony's probably potentially going to pick up studio-wise. I think they're going to pick up possibly Remedy, Kojima's studio, but I definitely think they're picking up Blue Point. And there was this rumor that we didn't talk about on the pod yet, you and me, Lou, that they were going to pick up Blue Point, and Blue Point was going to do a new IP, which would have been very interesting. So what do you think of that, Lou? I also said they were not going to pick up like Square or Capcom or any of the big Japanese studios. I think all those are going to kind of stay there, and they're just going to pay for a lot of games from them. Possibly.
That would be pretty big if they got one of them, right? But I don't think that
it would be huge.
In that direction. Yeah, I don't think they're willing to go in that direction. But it would be huge. As far as studios, like, I believe Sony is interested in a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
But I think that as far as this year, I think Sony will focus, like, during a dead period, we'll probably hear about acquisitions if they get someone. I've said that Remedy is probably on the table.
Yep.
Even though I've heard several times that they want to make multi-platform games. And,
yeah.
But I do think they're on the table. Blue Point is a great point that you made a long time ago. You just brought it up again now. I think they're gonna fall in line. I just don't know when this is all gonna happen though. Because I think there's so much going on for Sony right now that they can acquire these studios and not even mention it for like months down the road.
Yeah, they probably already have acquired some stuff. The Game Awards, we were expected to hear some big news, but we end up kind of being very flat for a lot of people, including us here on the channel. We watched it live as Lou drops out again. Hello, everybody. Welcome back, Lou.
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Continue. I'm going to work on it here.
You're good. No worries. End up kind of being a dud for a lot of us. We watched it live here on the channel and everything. So I think Sony has a really good roadmap for success. I mean, the PS5 is in really good shape. I know, again, I mentioned the scalper thing. I know a lot of you are still trying hard to get a PS5. Lou and I were very lucky to get a PS5. I am excited to see what's to come. And we're going to talk about the games, but I wanted to talk studios because I think it is going to be a big priority for them a little bit. I just really think they're going to get a couple more, or even maybe invest in some even smaller indie studios, maybe the Bugsnax studio or something like that. But I think Sony's going to go hard. They're going to have a really good roadmap here. let's talk about what games to expect. I mean, there's so many supposedly 2020 games. We're just gonna put in air quotes 2020 because potentially all these could be 2021. Yeah, the Game Awards was very disappointing, Joel. Yeah, 2021. But let's go through the list here. Let's run it down a little bit. Gran Turismo 7, Ratchet and Clank, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon 2 Forbidden Forest, I should say. Returnal, which already has a March release date. Final Fantasy 16, which is a PlayStation exclusive. But there's all these other exclusives they got coming down the line as well. Are we going to hear a Spider-Man 2 announcement? And how are they going to interact with the 2 Spider-Man they have now? We just played Miles Morales a few months ago. Or, I guess it's 2 months ago already. And Lou and I did a spoiler cast on that. I'm trying to think what else they have such a big role. Like, all the studios are really doing. Days Gone 2 is supposedly a thing as well. So I mean, there's a lot down the line. I think they really need to make Astrobot their mascot, though. I think Astrobot was a fantastic free game, an easy plat, and it was so fun to do. But let's go down that line, Lou. That's kind of the roadmap for Sony. Do you see anything else changing, or is any other surprise announcement? I'm sure there's going to be a lot more surprises this year for Sony, but they kind of, out of the big three, they probably have the most successful roadmap for success this year, don't you think?
Yeah, I think Sony is in line to have the most success this year. I do think that they could afford to move one game over to 2022 if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
if
Final Fantasy. I really think that.
it really doesn't matter on that list. Like if Final Fantasy does come out 2021, I mean you can move a big title game to 2022 just to make it 2022 even more stacked.
Yes.
Because as you mentioned, Spider-Man, it's on the way. I think it's about 2022 sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was thinking about God of War as well.
I
Is
don't
God
know
of
if
War
you
going to make
mentioned.
it here?
I don't know if you mentioned Ratchet and Clank.
I did. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be very soon.
Me too.
Last year for the show. Before that goes multi-platform.
Oh, good point. I forgot about this show. Yeah, that's another big exclusive they still have this year.
Yep. So I think Sony's ducks are in a row, and they can honestly take one of them ducks out and put it in next year's row if they wanted to. And it doesn't matter which one. I think they'll do probably a couple of next gen upgrades, so they can get some PS5 copies out there of these certain games from last year.
That's a really good point. The question is, if we own it already, are we going to get a free upgrade? What do you think? You think Sony would charge, or will we get a free upgrade since we own the game already?
I think they would do a free upgrade if you own it already or you have the disc-based version. I don't see why not.
Because there was that quote-unquote controversy for Spider-Man, remember?
Yeah, but I think they will. I think because they just have too much lined up. Like they don't need to do that, and I believe that they won't do it. But if they do, from my end, it's not really that big of a deal because I enjoyed most of those games.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima and the rumored God of War, as we mentioned.
Yeah, which you're replaying again, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Sony has a lot going for them, whereas the other two, which we'll talk about, really don't. But Nintendo, they can really pull anything out of a hat. They can pull a rabbit out of a hat. And
the Italian almost came out of Lou right there.
Yeah.
Out of the big ones I named earlier, like Gran Turismo, Ratchet and Clank, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon 2 Forbidden Forest, any of those getting delayed? Do you think any of those are going to be pushed? But you mentioned, they could just put some of these at 2022 and keep that stacked. You think God of War is feasible this year? They said 2021. Do you believe it?
if we don't see anything by March, or I'm gonna say as late as May of God of War, I think that gets pushed back to 2022.
Okay.
So
Would you mind if God of War was the like winter game, like the November game this year? It would kind of match what they're doing with the cold. The
yeah,
Ragnarok technically.
I wouldn't mind it. It would feel a little weird though. I wouldn't mind it because I mean Horizon came out what month did Horizon come out?
February. February.
February, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can move them, sometime maybe even the summer of God. I mean, there's so much that you can do as far, with Sony if all these games are ready. You know what I mean? It's just
Yes.
when can you, how well can you space it out to make these exclusives, give these gamers enough time to play it, beat it, platinum it, and, do whatever they have to do with it, and then move on to the next one and
That's
not
a
put them
good
all
point.
together.
That's a really good point that you made, but I think Sony has shown that they don't mind doing the Nintendo thing, and what I mean by that is having an exclusive every month. Big, because Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us were only 3 weeks away from each other. Um,
I, I, I still think that that was a mistake, though. I think that they
yeah,
meant to push Last of Us Part 2 for next gen.
yeah, I think so
And
too.
yeah, I think that, and, with the leaks coming out and how
Yeah,
everything
the
went.
controversy swelling, yeah, they had to just put it out.
I mean, literally the same day that the leaks came out, they announced when Last of Us was coming out.
Yeah,
Literally the
yeah,
exact
yes.
same day.
Also, what Luke
So,
meant earlier when he said it would be weird for God of War being winter, the reason being he said that is God of War is typically a March release. God of
y-
War 2018, the game of the year of that year. I always call it God of War 4 on here because it's a continuation, but it's just called God of War. Um, it it came out in April, so that's why Lou was saying that would be weird because that's normally an earlier release. But I was thinking for some reason I just had it in my gut. Call me crazy. Is that Horizon's going to be the summer game, the big summer game, and then God of War is going to be the big winter game. But Sony tends to have one like big winter game, and
yep.
this year was Miles Morales and Demon Souls was the two big ones this year because of obviously a new console. A console launch just happened, right? So they needed to have stuff on their console. So those were the two big one exclusives for them for winter this year. Last year, like literally like 4 days ago. But um, the out of the ones I named, I think God of War is probably the one that potentially could be 2022. Because that's what I was thinking anyway. I was thinking God of War and Spider Man were going to be the same year.
Yeah.
Because it would be 3 years now, I think, since they came out.
Yeah, it would make sense for that to happen. I don't know, like I feel like that some of these games they already have a two lined up. So
Yeah.
like how Jedi Fallen Order one when that came out, they already
Yes.
said that they were working on two.
Yeah,
So and
you're
that
right.
when that game went gold, that game went gold and they were working on two. So
Yeah.
I do think we see that soon as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think we see that soon. That might be an early 2022 game, or we could see it, as late as, this year. I mean,
Yeah.
as early as this year. So
Yeah, they've been
I
working
think,
on Fallen Order 2 for a while now, and they seem to know what Stig, the guy that directed God of War 3, he seems to have Respawn's EA's best company by far. I mean, everything they put out has been mega successful lately. Apex Legends is a monster, makes a lot of money. Um, but Lou made a lot of great points there. I think I'm just going with my gut. I think Ratchet and call me crazy. I think Ratchet and Gran Turismo 7 are done. I think they're just waiting to have a state of play this month
yeah,
and
to announce the
to
dates.
announce the release dates. Returnal, we already know the release date. It's March. So I don't think they're going to put another game in there. So I think it's March. That's why I'm thinking. That's why I'm thinking Horizon will be the summer game. Like the June, July, like Ghost of Tsushima. Um, and then God of War potentially will be the big winter game. The year before that, in 2019, it was Kojima's Death Stranding that was the big game. and then 2018 was Spider-Man in September. Um,
How how early do you see Ratchet and Clank coming out? Because I think that that's going to be the first game that kind of starts the
yeah,
the whole bunch of exclusives
I
coming out from PlayStation.
no kidding, Lou. I was literally thinking this month was going to be Ratchet and Clank, but
I
now
I was thinking February.
I'm thinking Yes, I'm what you hit it right now. I'm thinking February as well. I'm thinking Ratchet and Clank will be February, and maybe Gran Turismo is probably April, my birthday month. Um,
See, See, my mindset is that they want to space out their games,
yeah,
but you could be right. But this is just what I think. Just my opinion is that they want to space out their games,
yeah, that is
not
typical
too
Sony.
much.
That's what they
Yeah,
used to do.
right, but not too much where like there's that dead period,
Yeah.
in between.
The reason
Um,
why I say it differently, let me explain myself, is because they have prepared for PS5 a lot better than they did for PS4. PS4 literally launched with Knack and Killzone, Shadowfall.
yes,
And Shadowfall is not an awful game. It was a solid Killzone game. Um, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary, until we got Horizon from Guerrilla. And it's like, whoa, holy shit. And Sony really this generation, and I'm talking PS4, my apologies, PS4 generation, they really built a great catalog of new studios and games and taking chances and all of these games being successful. Ghost, Horizon, Spider-Man, Days Gone, not super successful here, but huge overseas. Huge, bigger than Spider-Man and God of War in Japan, Days Gone.
yep,
Big and
yep,
big in Great Britain, and the British love Days Gone. They were super in love with that game. I loved the game. I thought the game was good, but the game did not run well. Like Days Gone needed to be in the oven more. But I heard, and we're gonna try it out on stream pretty soon, that they did such a great job with it on PS5 that it just won so good. And I would like to see a remaster of that. And I know a lot of people are done with that and stuff. And Lou and I can testify that PS4 games on PS5 they look way better. They look significantly better.
Well,
But
I think the,
go
I
ahead.
think the word remaster is done. I
Yeah,
think it's next gen upgrade is what they're gonna call it.
that's a
I don't know
good
if that
point.
makes any sense.
That's a good point because they always change the terms, right?
Yep.
Like, what is what's Sony's new slogan for PS5? Is it "Be Greater" or something?
It's yeah, something like that.
And
It's
last year it
something
was
like
like
that.
not last year. Last gen PS4 is "Greatness Awaits," right? That was the big slogan. But I think they have fully prepared, and I think they want the PS5 to be the best launch window of any console they ever had, and they have the roadmap for do this because they have been really working on a lot of games, and a lot of people were complaining the last couple of years, right? They're like, hey, like Sony's not doing the E3 stuff anymore. They're not doing this anymore. Did they blow their load in all the games? When honestly, they ended the PS4 so gracefully with, Ghost of Tsushima. That was such an amazing ending swan song to the PS4. Um, so original, shaking my head, Joel. But it's really interesting. They've really prepared for this moment, Lewis. So that's why I think, and Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima proved that it didn't matter how far apart they were, they still made a shit ton of money. So I think them having a game every month is a smart idea because people will buy it. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. People will buy. A lot of smart people out there will wait on sale. There's a lot of geniuses out there. I'm not one of them. I'll probably be paying $80, $90 for some special edition of some of these games because it's just how I roll. um, but it should be a really successful year. Do you expect PlayStation VR 2 announced this year, Lou?
No, I
Mm.
think they'll let the console. I think maybe sometime next year. I think they're gonna let this next year just be about games. That's just my opinion. I just think they're gonna let it be about games. They got a lot of games lined up,
Well, that's why you
and
get paid the big bucks, my friend. Vet
that
minimum plus one.
it. I think it's gonna be about games. I think this is what Sony's trademark is about the games,
It is.
and then and then we'll start during the dead period. We'll see that Sony has acquired this studio. This might be coming. This and
Remaster
that.
or next gen upgrade, free next gen upgrade.
Yeah, I think they're trying to work in the line of like the NFL. Like the NFL is an all year round sport, right?
Yeah.
Free agency, draft, training camps, preseason, regular season, playoffs, Super Bowl, and then they
Pro
do it
Bowl,
all
yada
again.
yada.
Yeah, Pro Bowl, and then it's like the NFL never stops working. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where these other sports do. I think that's what Sony is gonna try to do for this next year or so.
That's a really good
So
point. I think you're right, and there has been internal data that has showed that these single player games are doing really successful for Sony. That they have made a shit ton of money. That they have had a lot of people invest in. People are putting more time in single player games more than ever because of Sony. Um, so it's really interesting to see. I think they're easily set up for great success for this year. I think they're going to have a lot of it. I think Lou's probably right. I was thinking they would announce Sony VR too, because I think they are doing it. I think 100% they're doing it. I think it is happening because that has actually been pretty successful for them. Their VR headset has been pretty successful. It hasn't sold like 30 million, but it sold like 2.5, 3 million headsets. That's pretty damn good for a VR headset. You would not expect that much. Um,
yeah,
uh,
I just think from a business standpoint that if
yeah,
you announce everything at once, something's gonna get missed.
yes.
So
And
so
honestly, these are good problems to have. These
yes,
aren't bad problems. Figuring out what game to put each month is such a fantastic problem for Sony to have. Where Microsoft would just want one right now at this point. Um,
well they're gonna get one and see how it goes. The
we'll get
medium.
there. We'll get there. We'll probably
So
wrap up Sony, but fun trivia. I found this post on NeoGAF. How much money did video games make in 2020?
boy, they must have made a lot of money, because of everything that went on. People were home.
Yep.
I think that had to be like the number one hobby that people went to, or that in terms of gamers that they like, oh, forget about the outside world right now. I got my console.
So
So
what's your guess?
oh my gosh, like I don't even know the average number. It's
Just
got to be in
think
the
triple
billions,
digit
right?
and think B.
Okay. It's billions, right?
Yes.
For some reason, 23 billion comes to mind. For some reason,
Okay, I said triple digit.
or triple digits. Okay.
$175 billion they made
Wow.
in 2020. How much of
Well,
that off microtransactions? This is gonna piss you off.
oh boy, are we in the bees? We in the bees, right?
Yeah, well, yes, 175 billion, but how much of it was microtransaction?
Um,
You're not gonna like it.
30, 32 billion.
138 billion or 36 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is
That is
way.
way more than half of the 172 or 75 billion I just said. Very,
Yes.
very big numbers. They made a lot of money. A lot of it's off microtransactions. I know that's gonna anger a lot of you guys there. So it's really
I'm
not the war of the big three anymore. It's really a war of War of Warcraft and League of Legends and Fortnite. They're making billions and billions, man. They're raking in
so.
the dough more than ever. Any last thoughts for Sony, Lou?
One last thing. What were the numbers for 19 and 18? You don't have that, do you?
I
I
don't. I'm sorry.
assume.
I just saw this post today on NeoGAF, so I just thought it'd be really fun trivia just to see if I could pick your knowledge.
Yeah, because I don't even have anything. I don't even have anything to base it on. But I would have to imagine that they made so much more money in 2020 than they did in 19 and probably 18 combined.
Yeah, like
That's even
everything gaming went like ridiculously up this year, or like 2020, like you said. Um,
because remember I was looking for a controller during the whole situation, and I just could not find one.
yes,
So
yeah, you couldn't find a Switch, you know, like you couldn't find
couldn't,
anything. You
yeah,
can't find
nothing.
PS5s, mostly scalpers, but
But as far as PlayStation. What they're gonna do. I just think that, to end it, I
yeah,
think that PlayStation they already got the exclusives that you mentioned earlier lined up. I think they're gonna throw in a couple of next gen
yep.
upgrades,
I think
quote
that's really
unquote.
smart. I didn't even think about that. That was really good.
Yeah, they want to make the deck really fat and heavy, I guess you would say. Compared to their last console release,
How
which
messed up would this be, Lou, if when Final Fantasy VII Remake expires and goes on Xbox, but the same day they're like, "Hey, you can now play it on PS5 with a free next gen upgrade."
Hey, I'll take it.
I mean, it seems like a Sony move. I know a lot of people will get really upset about that, but I respect it and I love it and I think it's funny. Let's talk Nintendo because I think we got a little bit of a grasp of Nintendo. This 2020 was a weird year for Nintendo. Obviously, they got hit really hard because of the like a lot of studios did um, because of 2020. But Sony and Microsoft still launched two new consoles last year, so it's pretty impressive in their part. But Nintendo kind of really coasted on one game this year, and it stole the hearts for a lot of people, and that was Animal Crossing. In 2020 was a huge, massive hit. I think that game might beat Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's record of like 28 million copies sold or something. Like Animal Crossing
They
is a
they
monster.
also
Go ahead.
had they also had the Paper Mario game,
Yeah,
Origami
they
King.
had more, but they really what I meant is just everyone talked about that game. It was just Animal Crossing.
Yeah, yeah.
Animal Crossing was used in everything. We won't go into that, or whatever, but read in between the lines. They were used on everything. Uh, but Lou was right. They had Paper Mario Origami King. They had Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. They had Super Mario 3D All Stars. January of last year they had Tokyo Mirage Sessions started it out for them. So I mean they had a pretty productive year. I think 2021 they're gonna start with in February. It's Super Mario 3D World remaster, which
Yep.
would only leave two Wii U games on there. Is that gonna count as the Mario game, Lou? Or are we gonna get Odyssey 2 or something?
I don't think that's gonna count as the Mario game. Like if they count that as the Mario game for this year, it would be very lackluster,
Yeah,
a very lackluster year. Because the one thing you know from Nintendo, a Mario game is coming. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Usually a
matter.
Mario and Zelda game are coming. You're exactly right
Y-
about that.
y- Yeah, everything else is just toppings on a cake, I guess you
Yeah.
would say for them. But a Mario game is coming. Zelda's coming. Nintendo they have these games that are coming. We just don't know when they want to release them.
Yes.
Um, so
I
if
think
they're
they'll have
going
a Nintendo
to,
Direct this month too. I think it's pretty soon they'll have one.
I think they're gonna have one for that, and then Sony's gonna have theirs.
Yeah, me too. The
And then we probably won't see anything until like May.
uh,
So
Breath of the Wild 2 was supposed to come out 2020. Do you
yeah,
expect it to come out 2021 and when?
I think it'll be 2021. I think it'll be 2021, and I think that it's gonna come out maybe the summer, and then I think they're gonna release a Mario game in the winter, and who knows if they even release a Mario sports game. My God, I think that that's soon as well.
Yeah, I want to
So
talk about that Mario sports game. That's a good pick. My gut feeling is we haven't seen shit on Breath of the Wild 2. But I think you'll
Nope.
see it in the next Direct. And I think it's going to launch the same day the Switch turns 4 years old. In March. And the
Okay.
same day Breath of the Wild 1 came out. And I don't remember, was that like March 10th or something? I don't
Yeah,
remember what it was.
it was like March 10th or I think it was or 12th maybe.
Yeah.
Was it? Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think that's right around the ballpark.
Yeah, correct us down below. But I remember I was there at said place still. Very exciting time. Sold out really fast. Couldn't wait to get my Breath of the Wild Collector's Edition. Didn't beat it until like 2 years later. I don't know. You know, like, because I wasn't super in love with Breath of the Wild because of the story and stuff. I wanted more from my Zelda game. And I felt like the older games had better stories, like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker and Majora's Mask, which is my favorite of all time. I fucking love Majora's Mask. You make a great point. I think it's going to be 2021. I think possibly it might be co-op, or you might be able to switch to Zelda. And possibly, I think it will be heavily protected, like Last of Us Part 2, and potentially win Game of the Year. I'm gonna go out on a limb right now. If Breath of the Wild 2 comes out,
There's no way. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
well,
You're
I'm just
definitely
saying,
right.
Breath of the Wild 1, you could not have any
But
criticism for that game, and I had a
but could
shit
you
ton of it. But
could you
luckily,
imagine though? If God,
my fans
if
and
God,
subs, thank you so much. You guys have been really nice, even though you might think differently. but you have been really nice about that. You haven't ripped my head off over Breath of the Wild, but I just really like story driven games. But not every game needs to be story driven. You know what I mean? Like, the thing I like about Nintendo is they're very innovative with their games. They're very, like, Animal Crossing has no story, but Lou and I still play it every week to get turnips because we have fun. Like, it's just a
could
fun
you
game.
could you imagine though if God of War and Horizon are aces? We're just gonna mention those two because they're the two marquee
I
games for
want to shout
Sony.
out Elo for this because we were talking about this the other night before you guys joined in for hockey.
Yeah,
And he's like, but what about God of War and Horizon? Wouldn't they? I'm like, I'm with you, but the nostalgia of Nintendo, they always just
could
every games journalist will protect Breath of the Wild 2 like crazy. They have
I
that, like Breath of the Wild 1 got a 97 Metacritic. Super Mario Odyssey had a 97 Metacritic.
like if that
I don't
game
want to
is
hate
just
on
like
both of those
okay,
games because I love both of those games, but those games were probably the same as God of War. They're probably like a 93, 94 Metacritic, not a
it,
97.
it's funny too
Breath of the
because
Wild was frustrating, Joe. I got you. Go ahead, Lou.
it's
Sorry.
it's funny because my goodness, that's getting the cyberpunk treatment. I mean, even though cyberpunk in terms of like
The hype, yes. The hype, yes.
it's the hype, and it's like okay, well, this Game of the Year award it has Cyberpunk's name on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and
Well,
everything
you
else is
also
kind
got to
of like,
remember it's the Critics Award. Remember, look how they treated Last of Us Part 2. It kind of just swept everything. And Last of Us Part 2 won 147 Game of the Year awards.
and Last of Us Part Two story was just awful. Like it was the story was just terrible.
Whoa,
Like
whoa, sir! You cannot criticize that game.
oh my goodness, I'm sorry if you get in trouble for that, but
But you're
oof,
right, dude.
that's
Talk about
it.
Titanic. If we
Like
get God of War, Horizon, and Breath of the Wild 2, and if, like you said, if there's another Mario game, like a Odyssey 2 or something, what the, like, holy shit. That would be probably one of the funnest game of the years ever, unless they got Breath of the Wild 2 like they did the first year.
yeah, yeah. Man, I hope that game does well. But if God of War and Horizon and some of these other exclusives end up being aces, I don't know.
And
I
I
don't
was
know.
glad you guys were so right because I thought the critics were gonna screw Ghost of Tsushima because they only had an 82 Metacritic, but no, it got nominated. It got nominated for 6 awards, which was huge. It was awesome, and it actually
Well,
won one, right? It won one or two, like it won one or two.
yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Well, I think that if that game came out if Ghost of Tsushima came out now, I think the Metacritic would probably be in the high
It
80s.
would probably be a lot different. Yeah, it'd probably be like
Yeah.
88 or something. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So,
They. Uh,
but as I was saying, I think there's gonna be a Mario sports game.
what's your
I
call?
just Man, I really want strikers. I've mentioned this for a while. I really want strikers, but I figured they're gonna do something like golf, or they're gonna do something like something that's kind of like deflating compared to what I want. You
Yes.
know, I think they're gonna do that. I would like a baseball one. That would be nice.
Yeah. We
Um,
haven't seen strikers or baseball in a long time. They've done Mario Tennis back to back, which was really interesting. I think mostly because the Wii U Mario Tennis was not very good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
not very good. I am with Lou. I think we might have said this last year that there was going to be a Mario sports game. It actually didn't happen in Mario's 35th anniversary. I got a really gut feeling that it's going to be golf. Like I really got a gut feel. I'm just saying. I think it's going to be golf, and it's the one I don't play. I think JJ would love that, and we would play it on stream for sure. I bet we'll have fun with it. Um, but
what?
I'm with a lot. Like I'm with Lou. Like on the strikers and the baseball. Strikers is the soccer one, and baseball. I have both GameCube versions. Shout out to my buddy Matt Jones. We used to play that after every wrestling practice. We would come over to my house and we would play that. We would play strikers and baseball, and he would always pick Diddy Kong as his leadoff batter, and he would always bunt, and I could never stop him on the bunt. It always pissed me off. It always made me laugh though. I'm like, you bastard! Every single time he would bunt with Diddy Kong as leadoff, and it would work. Um, and then he would have like Donkey Kong or Bowser as like his cleanup hitter, and he'd hit home runs. But we would have great games. We had so many fantastic games. But I would actually like a new one, and not like a sports mix, because that's always half-assed in my opinion. The Wii U one had a basketball, had ice hockey, and I think it was volleyball or something. Like
Yeah.
all three in one or something. But I want like a new one. I would actually like a blitz style American football type one. Um, Mario game, or a ice hockey Mario game, like a full like deep ice hockey Mario game. But I really feel like it's gonna be golf. If it's not golf, it's got to be strikers or baseball. Would you want something new or no?
If they would do a Mario Party game,
Well, I meant sports
how?
game. Sports game.
Oh, sports game.
Yeah, well, like what if they did like Mario Volleyball? Would that make you happy or no?
Uh, I mean, it sounds cool, but
It actually sounds super fun, man.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think they would.
What
That
about
does
my
sound
football
fun.
idea? The blitz style.
They they could do that. I don't think they will, but I think that that's a
I
good
don't think so.
idea. To
Either. I don't
act.
think it's big in Japan. I don't think football is big in Japan.
Yeah, I don't think so. I
I'm
think they're
talking
just gonna
about
go.
NFL, American football guys, by the way. Just before
But you know what is big in Japan is baseball.
baseball and
So
soccer are huge.
baseball and soccer are huge, but baseball.
Huge. What
Don't
about
quote me
cricket?
on. Oh no.
Badminton,
Oh boy.
darts, pool.
Next subject.
You brought up a great idea. Super Mario Party. JJ just got that game. I hope you started winning, Cuzzo. I love you very much. But I remember you said you kept losing to Jacob when he was visiting you. Um, but Super Mario Party was a huge success, but they did no DLC and they didn't add any new boards or anything. Are they gonna do a sequel to that? You brought that up. That's a really good idea. Do you like what would you like to see in the new Mario Party if they have one this year?
I threw that out there, but man,
I
I
like
don't
the
know.
idea though. I mean, it's a great
Uh,
idea.
I got the last one, and I was not really too fond of it,
Yeah.
but I
But
mostly
why
played
is
by
that though?
myself.
What could you improve on it? More boards, more characters, better mini games. 'Cause I heard a lot of people
I
really liked it. They just didn't like the fact there was only like 4 boards or something.
Yes, probably more boards. Characters would be cool. But Maybe you do the a set character set, and then you do like DLC characters. That
Mm.
you bring like how Smash does it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And you
yeah.
can bring them to play with you.
They did it
So you
with
know what I
Mario
mean?
Kart.
Yeah, they did it. So I think that they should do that. The mini games all the time. I think that more is best. And for me, I felt like there was a lot less, and just like I played it, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
bored, and that was it.
That's what I heard.
That
I heard
was
like a
it.
lot of the boards were really small too. Like they were super quick.
Yes,
Um,
yes, there were.
not enough mini games either. I heard. Like it looked really fun though. I know a lot of people really enjoyed it. The last Mario Party. What's the last Mario Party I played, Lou? Take a guess.
Oh boy, are we talking GameCube? Are we
Before.
talking before?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I what was it?
Mario
I
Party
can't.
3. That was my favorite one. I fucking love Mario Party 3. That
That
was so good.
that was the last one that you played.
The last one I played. Shout out to my buddy Richie. I'm doing a lot of
Wow.
shout outs so far, but we went over to his like aunt's house and that's all
Hmm.
we did. We just played. We swam in the pool, but we also just that's all we did was play Mario Party 3. And that was my
Wow.
favorite one because you could get companions. You could get like a piranha plant, some other stuff like a bomb bomb. Um, really like that game, and they had like powers and shit. Really like Mario Party 3. I actually heard Mario Party 4 was really good on GameCube, but Mario Party was one of those things of I didn't always have a lot of people around, and I'd rather prefer not around all the time. I should say, like if I go over to my buddy's house or they come over, but we usually end up playing Smash Brothers. That was
Right.
the game we always played. And that was pre-internet. Well, not pre-internet, but pre like gaming internet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like the Mario Party games, but they were just never high on my list. And I always bought the sports games. I'd rather play Strikers or baseball. Love those ones. Those ones are so good. Um, really good point, though. Really good point. Do do they do an expansion pass for Animal Crossing? You and me talked about this a little bit. I think a few pods ago. I think it was one of my predictions actually at the Game Awards. Actually, I think, and it didn't happen. Nothing happened at the Game Awards. But do you think they're gonna do an expansion for Animal Crossing?
I think they should.
Yeah.
I think they should. Um, I would like to see kind of the island get bigger. I guess you would
Mm.
say, and add more people.
Yeah.
Um, add more villages that you can get. Like
Yes.
go out there and maybe recruit villagers. Go to some of these towns and
Yeah.
I would like something more because I feel like it's very basic right now. I mean, I'm only going in and cleaning my island and just getting turnips.
Yeah, I
Uh,
basically go in, get turnips, and just talk to everybody. I'll at least check on them every day and just say what up because I like them.
well, I haven't talked to my neighbors in years, so I don't even know if they're still
You are up at
rocking.
weird times, Lou, where everybody's sleeping. I'm with
I
you
mean,
though on the villager thing. My idea was that you could travel to a new island, because that's how you used to do it in the old games by boat. You used to travel by boat with a new island. They used to have a little Kappa dude, and he used to
Hmm.
take you to the island, and they would have like new insects and stuff and new plants and stuff to get. Because I would like more fruit. A lot of fruit is missing. Like all the tropical fruit, like bananas,
Yeah.
apricots, and all that, are all missing from this game. I would like to upgrade to that. But on the new island, I'm with you with recruiting villagers, but I want the new island to be prehistoric, and I want dinosaurs. Like I want cute little dinosaur villagers I can recruit, like a T-Rex, a Triceratops, some goofy looking, because they're all cutesy looking, right? Um,
Yeah.
well, I
I
would
think
like
this
that.
game.
I would like a prehistoric island you could visit, but I think you hit the nail on the head on a lot of stuff. There's always some more DOI stuff you can do. I think they did a great job with the Christmas event. I think it was really fun on the New Year stuff. It's really cool. I like how they've done it. Obviously, nothing like, oh my god, it's the most amazing thing in the world, but it's a nice touch. When you go out of the way to do the little things, they count more in the video game than anything, in my personal opinion. And that's been the problems with sports games, right? They don't do the little things anymore, right? Like when I play Madden and they play the highlights and you see everybody, walking, like trying to walk through the tunnel, but they're walking in like, they're stuck walking into the stadium in like against the wall. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, that like it's terrible AI, terrible management.
I think that Animal Crossing has the potential to be Nintendo's, even though it's well established already. I'm talking about going forward with the expansions,
Yeah.
Minecraft, where you just keep building and you keep building. Like Minecraft, when I first played it, it was nothing.
Yes.
Like like we used to have to make new worlds if we were.
Wait, hold
if
up,
we,
hold up. Breaking news: you played Minecraft. I think this
Yeah.
podcast is over. Go ahead, I just
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Minecraft. It's actually very peaceful and relaxing for me.
there isn't
Um,
there isn't anything wrong. I was just teasing Lou. Please don't hurt me, chat. But go ahead, Lou. I apologize.
I mean, after a while, they just kept expanding and they
Yeah.
added more animals and the world got bigger. And I don't mean I don't want it to be as big as the Minecraft world, which is
Yeah.
infinity now, I think. But I'm just saying that I think that it has that potential for the remainder of this game. So I
You
think that
are absolutely
that's
right. I mean, that is a fantastic point. They could continuously keep building on something, and I hope they do, because Nintendo always struggled with this. They never really did DLC, right? Once the game was done, it was over, right? They changed that with the Wii U and Switch era. They started doing DLCs more, to the point where every first-party game on the Switch when it first came out got like DLC. It got an
yes.
expansion pass. So it's interesting. They seem to cool down a little bit with that, but I want them to pick it back up again, because I would like to see what Lou just exactly said. That was a brilliant thing to say. That's a smart move, in my personal opinion. Keep the gravy train rolling, baby, right? The game's year round. It doesn't go away.
And the game sold like 18 million copies. There's
Yes.
billions of people in the world, so there's still more people that could buy that game. And if you
Yes.
just keep growing on it, there are people that they like to have a lot to do. So maybe they feel that once they get in and do certain things, the game feels empty. The game's gonna feel empty for them, or it feels empty now just thinking of the idea. So the more and more you grow that game, the more and more, you'll get people that what I mean, that want to do a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Like when they play Witcher and all those type of games.
You're good point.
So-
Really good point. I want to ask you this though: are we gonna see any ports or remakes? They've kind of gotten into that a lot. They brought a lot of the Switch games over, like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, give new life to the game, added DLC to it as well, for free, like free new content, I should say. The same thing with everything like Captain Toad and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive. That was a Wii game, sorry. That's not a Wii U game, but a lot of the Bayonettas and stuff like that. Are we gonna see any ports or remakes of any other Nintendo class? It could be Wii, it could be they did 3D All Stars, right? Are we gonna see any more ports or anything, Lou?
Probably. Nintendo is of the mindset that I would think of the more games the better.
Yes.
So I think they'll just be like, heck, we'll remaster this, we'll remake this, we'll high res this, and I don't think they're particularly done with the Switch for a long time, for a while.
Yeah.
So we could honestly see a Switch Pro.
That was the next one I was going to
sometime
ask
soon.
you, actually. Yeah, that was what I was going to ask you next. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I think that that's very likely. And what games? I mean, I can't think of any right now. Like, there's something that's popping into my head. I'm
For
trying
me
to.
personally, a personal pick for me is Star Fox. I would like to see Star Fox, the Wii U one remastered and put on Switch, where I could just play it on my Pro controller instead of that big fucking gamepad where I have to like do all this nonsense. I just want to play a shooter, rail shooter with Star Fox. That's all you got to do. Star Fox. I would like to see Star Fox Zero get the remastered remake treatment. I think that would be really cool to see, because a lot of Nintendo icons have really not gotten a lot of chance to shine. Star Fox, Metroid, they forgot about some F-Zero, right? People want a new F-Zero. Just put Captain Falcon in Mario Kart, damn it. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
You have his damn car in there. And a track from F-Zero in the game. Or do a Nintendo Kart where they just have everybody. Like it's the Smash Brothers for Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
But a personal one for me would be Star Fox. I would like to see a remake of a remaster or port of the Wii U one of Star Fox Zero. Even though that game's not the greatest thing in the world, but if they fix the controls, they can. They basically proven they can bring any game over to the Switch. I agree with Lou. I think we are going to see the Switchy Pro finally this year. We've been talking about it for a while, but I think there was a lot of leaked evidence and stuff. Some of the bigger Nintendo YouTubers were already talking about it, so I think that's a really good sign. I think it is going to be 4K. And I think it'll be a little bit bigger. I think it'll be called the Switch Plus or something. They'll call it something weird. Because what was the other one called? Switch Lite, right?
Yeah, the Switch Lite.
Yeah, they're gonna call it Switch. I don't think they're gonna call it Pro because that's Sony's thing. I think they're gonna say Switch Plus or something. Even make it more confusing on people.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, it seems about right for Nintendo.
But for now, we'll call it Pro because
that's
we don't
what
have
we
a real
just been
name
calling
for
it. Yeah.
So
final question for Nintendo, unless you have any other final thoughts. Are we gonna see any new surprises though? Are we gonna finally see Bayonetta 3? Are we gonna finally see Metro Prime 4? Are we gonna see a new Donkey Kong? Maybe a new Mario Kart? Are we gonna see any other surprises this year, Lou?
I would hope so. Because there was rumors, what was it, around E3 of a new Mario Kart game?
Yes, there was, yes.
I would really hope so. I just...
Out of everything I said, what do you want to see?
I think the new Bayonetta would be cool. I would like to see a new Mario Kart.
I would love to see Bayo finally. They announced it at the Game Awards in 2017. And we haven't seen anything from Bayo 3. Go ahead.
My thing with Nintendo is, and I don't know if a lot of people feel this way.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get besides Mario and Zelda.
You're right. You're exactly right. They really care. Those two are the titans of the gaming Nintendo world. And like we were talking about earlier, what did we talk about? Basically, this whole time is whoring out Mario. He's in everything. Kart racing, sports, crossovers with Sonic, a bunch of so many different games with Mario, and they don't do that a lot with Zelda. They make a new Zelda title, or they do a remake or a port or something, and that's about it. But I think it's time to re-see Metroid Prime 4, and I really want to say Bayo 3. Bayo 3 would be awesome to see. That's the one I really want to see. Nintendo this year. Any final thoughts from Nintendo, Lou? Before we go to your favorite of all time?
No, that's basically it. But I guess we're getting towards the end of the show.
Yeah. All right, so we saved Microsoft for last because they're the most mysterious one out of the three for us. Lou really hit the nail on the head with Nintendo. It's usually Mario and Zelda. We talked about Sony. They seem to have a beautiful roadmap planned out for the PS5 to probably make it the best launch they've ever had. Launch window, or whatever you want to call it. And I really expect it. I mean, even if just God of War and Horizon come out and none of the other games we talked about, those are more than enough for the PS5. Plus, with all the next gen upgrades Lou was talking about, that's a brilliant thing. They can spread the months around, but it looks like it's going to be a really good year for Sony. So Microsoft is going to be the most unique one because they had a huge game announcement at the Game Awards, and nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about it. I know some Xbox heads did, and some really loved it. They've got this new studio called The Initiative. A lot of great talent there. But I didn't see a lot of people talk about Perfect Dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lou had nothing. Like, are you interested? Have you ever played Perfect Dark before? Are you interested at Perfect Dark?
No, not really.
It was made by Rare, but it was the same team that did GoldenEye and N64. And the original one was really good. It was very beloved. But this is kind of weird. You have this new quadruple A studio that you built in Santa Monica. In the game they do, instead of a new IP, I guess you can actually technically call it a new IP because no one remembers Perfect Dark Zero for Xbox 360 launch, right? I actually enjoyed that game. I don't think that game was that great, though, but especially story-wise, but it puts Microsoft in such an interesting, weird thing, and we don't even know when we're ever going to see that game. It seems Lou was very lukewarm on Perfect Dark. But I just want to know why. I want to know why. Why is nobody? It's such an interesting thing. I mean,
I totally slipped my we talked about Xbox a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
and that totally slipped my mind. And when you brought it up, it was not an oh yeah moment. I was like, yeah. I mean, hey, listen, Xbox is trying. I don't know when. I don't know when we're gonna start seeing some of this, these ideas, but they're trying, and I don't know what to expect from them in 2021. I know the medium is coming out
pretty soon, right? This month or next
month?
Month?
Very soon.
28th, I think, of January, right?
Yeah, I hope it really does. I hope it showcases the console really well.
That game looked really cool. It was the most interesting one I wanted to look at. Or play, not look at, I'm sorry, to play. Why would I look at it? But it was the one game I actually really would want to play on a Series X. I don't have a Series X yet. I'm going to wait for a little bit. Game Pass is effing brilliant. It's the best thing they've done. They got great backwards compatibility, so I expect them to lean into those two a lot more. We're going to have I bet they'll have some great games on Game Pass every month. And then they'll have a really good, robust expansion of backwards compatibility. This is kind of what I'm leaning on, because that is their MO right now. They don't really have much. I think medium's a great point. Halo will probably be at the end of the year if we see it at all. I think that game's in real fucking trouble. Excuse my French there. That was supposed to be a launch game, and I don't know what's going on at Microsoft. I don't know if anybody just they forgot to look at Halo. Nobody took the trip to go see 343. Did the plane ticket get fucking lost? What the fuck happened?
I think they just wanted to rush it to be a game that came out for the Series X. Yeah, because like I said, the day before its reveal, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
and they came by, and unfortunately tomorrow became the present for them.
Yes.
Because that game did not look well. Elo has mentioned that he doesn't like the open world aspect of the idea of that.
Yeah, it's very weird for Halo.
So I wonder how that's gonna play out. To have an open world Halo game like that, that's being floated around.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. With Xbox, I just don't know what to think of Xbox.
Yeah.
Because I feel.
I want to preface this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
if we seem like we're being a little harsh on Xbox, we really like Xbox. I really like Microsoft a lot.
Yeah, I like
we're
Xbox.
not. I know we're kind of more Sony ponies here, as you guys would say, but we love our Switch. That's the two systems we play the most. Microsoft's usually kind of like the media console and whatever exclusive or Game Pass game we feel like playing for free that month. I just want to stress on this channel, we really do like Microsoft, but I think it's fair to criticize them a little bit. Same thing with Sony and Nintendo. They got some problems. I know it seemed like we were all lovey-dovey and stuff, but they're in a far better place right now than Microsoft is. Microsoft's in a weird limbo right now. And I don't know, that's like the best way to describe it, because it's almost like they learned their lesson from Xbox One X, but they didn't prepare properly. They thought they prepared properly by buying a bunch of studios and stuff, but
I just think they dropped their spaghetti.
You can't, because you put
I-
the oven to 600 degrees does not mean the cake's going to bake correctly. You're going to burn it
Yes.
really bad.
Yes.
And that's what I think they did with a lot of these games, just like Lou said. And Lou brought up a fair point a few podcasts ago. I don't remember the exact one, but he was like, when is it time to criticize them? When is it fair to criticize them? Because I made the point is it's just going to take time. Video game development takes fucking forever. And it costs a lot of money. And now they have 26 studios now and stuff. And they bought a lot of studios that were failing, so they're going to need time and opportunity and resources to be successful. And Lou brought up a really good point. And I think you can technically criticize them anytime you want. And I think the criticism's fair. I just was trying to be like, play devil advocate a little bit, because I just understand that video game development is not like PS2 days, GameCube days, you know. You can, or, you know, Super Nintendo games where you can only have 10 people. You have staffs of 200 plus now working like 10 to 15 hours sometimes. And the game still comes out buggy and shit. You know, we've become so used to bugs in our games now. And I think Sony and Nintendo has done an absolute great job with their quality. Most of their games might have maybe one or two bugs, but they're fixed pretty quickly. Like, what's the last time you heard of a bug in a Nintendo game, right?
See, that's that I want to clear up as well.
Yeah.
Is I have no problem with Xbox. I believe in a competition war. So if Xbox does well, PlayStation is going to do well.
Yes.
And if they do well, that means Nintendo is going to do well.
You're absolutely right.
The thing with Xbox is I feel like they can last for a long time being mediocre until they hit their stride.
Yeah.
Just because they're owned by Microsoft.
Well, when's that stride? 2024? Like 2022?
Well, we talked about it the other day, right? 2022 is like I don't know what to expect. I think that console release shouldn't have been until 2021. But, you know, I've mentioned that before. I know that they wanted to keep up with PlayStation, but PlayStation just has their...
You made a great point. Like, you got to try. And I think that's what they were trying to do. And I think you're right. I think they really thought Halo was going to be there. But it's just weird. It just seems like a weird mismanagement thing that your most treasured franchise, the thing you're known for, Halo, and you let it look like that. And we're not graphics whores on here. You know, Tokyo Mirage Session is not the most beautiful game in the world. You know, on Nintendo Switch. But
it's not about the graphics for me. For me as a gamer, it's not about the graphics.
It's about the story and gameplay for me.
But you are selling a system based on graphics and how well it plays.
Yes.
And then you show your Kingpin, and your Kingpin is a sloppy dog.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know...
That's a really good point, because that was the wrong message for Microsoft for many years. I think it still is the wrong message. It's just power. Power's not... If you don't use your power, what's the point of having it, right?
Right. If we have a debate right now, let's say we have an Xbox and PlayStation debate, let's say the top two heads go right at it, and then the question is asked, why should people buy your console? Xbox is going to say graphics and gameplay,
Yeah.
and then you display Halo. I mean, you just lose that battle.
Yes.
It's just that simple. You lose that battle when you display Halo, and you're trying to rush that out. You know, the game was clearly not ready, but they just wanted to bring something out to, for their console release. And it's
Yeah.
like I said before, like I don't think that they were ready to release a console. And
Yeah.
I think
it's a really good point.
I don't think that they were ready. And the medium is fine. Perfect Dark. I don't know what the release date is for that. When is that?
They fuck if I know, bro. 2027.
Oh boy. No,
They just didn't say it.
looks
I
like
mean,
we're
they
only
just
getting-
showed a CGI trailer. I also want to point this out. CGI trailers don't do it for me anymore. I want to see gameplay. Like when Sony in 2016 E3, they came out, had an orchestra, and played God of War in front of everybody. That's like what I want to see from Microsoft. Like gameplay. Like what does it look like? And at least they did that with Halo. It just didn't look that good. It didn't look that good. Are we going to see Hellblade 2 this year? I would assume so. I would assume we'd see some announcements or updates, I should say, for Hellblade 2 and some of the other properties that are cooking in the oven.
They have to. Okay, so there has to be a game that's coming out the winter time, right? So
That's
what
probably
game is
Halo.
that for them? Is that Halo?
Yeah,
Because
probably.
if that's Halo and that's it, I mean, you could have waited that year. You could have waited that year.
To be fair, Forza is probably coming out this year. That's always been a very good and great popular game for them. They always highly reviewed and loved. I think they're getting Flight Simulator finally on their console too. They have some good possibilities. I just unfortunately Forza is probably considered better than Gran Turismo, but you know how much Gran Turismo sells? Like 30 million copies.
Yeah.
And then Forza, sells 1/8 of that, maybe.
Well, I assume Gran Turismo is very popular in the Japanese market of the world, right?
And it's a more pro style racing. That's why it's big in Japan and Europe. Like Europe loves it.
Yeah. So
there's like a pro Europe circuit too. Even GTA Sport on PS4 sold like 30 million. And a lot of people, like, it didn't get, like, the greatest reviews, but it sold, like, 30 million. It sells a lot.
Yeah.
It sells a lot, but do you expect an update from Hellblade 2 or anything?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get an update for a lot of the games that were announced at E3. That was their last real reveal of games, was E3. So we're talking what?
Well,
6
that
months
was
ago?
actually unveiled at the Game Awards. Hellblade.
What was it? I thought they did a little trailer for it at E3. I could have swore.
No, it was actually unveiled.
We talked about that
because they were they didn't do it. They unveiled the Series X at the Game Awards, and that was one of the games they showed.
Okay, then that's my bad because I misjudged that. So
yeah.
I think
it's all right, man. You don't gotta apologize. Like it happens, man. It's been weird. It was a weird year in 2020. There was no E3, nothing really.
Hey, it is what it is. But
yeah,
I think yeah.
Well, I just hope it's not like, hey, we're in Iceland, bye again. Like I want to see the damn game. Like show us some Hellblade. Hellblade 1 was very great, I heard. I want to play it. I was hoping we'd get it as a plus game sometime, but we never did. I expect them to have what do you expect any remakes, remasters, or anything? Announcements? I would love a Banjo-Kazooie remake. Like Crash style? And Spyro style? Like shot for shot? That'd be dope.
That would be cool, but, I mean, can you remake Halo again? I don't know. In Gears?
They technically did that already.
Remake Gears too?
They already did it with Gears as well, I think. They could
well, they
remake
did
Gears.
with
That's a
one.
good point. They only remade Gears 1.
Yeah. So you could remake 2
Do we
and
see Gears
3.
6? That's a good point. Do we see Gears 6 at all?
Yeah, we're gonna see that later down the road. We'll see it. We'll see it. They have to. It's been a minute since we saw anything in Gears. You know,
Yeah,
they have
2019.
to. Yeah.
Right? It was
Was it 19?
2019 Gears
Was it
5, I
19?
think it was, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And it was pretty good.
We-
It wasn't the most amazing. I actually shocked it wasn't nominated for Game of the Year because it was pretty good. I didn't think it was the greatest thing though, but it was really good. I had
I would
fun
have to
playing
ima-
that Gears of War-thon with JJ.
Yeah, you
I
could-
think they're gonna put a lot. They're gonna invest in a lot in backwards compatibility, Game Pass. That's their bread and butter. They're making a lot of money off that. Keep that going. Give us some updates on these games. Halo, Hellblade 2, maybe Everwild. I don't think we're gonna see Everwild. Maybe Perfect Dark. Maybe, I don't know. Have some surprises. Have some remakes. One last question for Microsoft because we'll end it here because I don't think we have any else to really go on. But do you think they're gonna acquire any more studios? I know it sounds crazy. They have like 26 already. But that seems to be their thing. It's just buying stuff.
unless they're smaller, I don't see them acquiring anything anytime soon.
Bold
I don't see
prediction:
them-
they're gonna buy Sega tomorrow.
Ooh,
I'm just joking.
that
ain't
would
gonna
make
happen.
that
I
would
highly
make one
doubt-
person in particular really mad.
I don't. I don't expect them to get a big They talked about a Japanese studio, but I don't expect it to be a big Japanese studio. I don't expect it to be Capcom, Square, and Sega. The reason being is not a money issue. It's foreign exchange rate, power, stocks, stuff like that. It'd be really hard because I know a lot of people are like, oh, they bought the whole Bethesda line, like they bought like all the ZeniMax stuff, but that was here in America. That is not overseas. Sony is a Japanese company, so it's a lot easier for them to acquire Japanese studios. But a lot of those have a lot of power. Square Enix is a huge conglomerate. Capcom's a huge conglomerate. They have a lot of money. Sega's got billions of dollars. So, they're not... I don't expect any of those to go. I know there was that Sega rumor, a few months ago, and Chad was freaking out about it. Shout out to the Bearded Wonder. Love you very much. But he was freaking out. They're going to do it. They're going to do it, man. Persona's going to be gone. It's going to be good. Sorry, Chad. Love you, man. But I just don't see it happening. I actually think they're going to cool it a little bit on studios. But if they do, it will be a Japanese studio, but it'll be a small one that we probably don't really know much about.
I don't see anything anytime soon after the acquisition of Bethesda.
Yeah.
So if it is, it's not going to be until later this year. But I don't
I know
don't think so.
Microsoft has $3 trillion, quote unquote, but that's the whole company. It's not the gaming division. It's not the Xbox division that has that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because
even spending $7.6 billion, that's a lot of money lost for the gaming division. It's going to take a while to get that back.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long while to get that back. Any final thoughts for Microsoft? I might have one bonus one for you.
No. No. I don't know. I didn't really know what to say with the subject anyway, to be quite honest, because I don't know what to expect from Microsoft.
I think I laid out a good blueprint. I mean, worse for worse, I think that's a good plan for them. Lean into what you're good at already.
Yeah. So
keep making money that way. I think this bonus one will be a funny one. What about, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit. 2020 was definitely a weird year, but was there a particular mascot missing last year, Lou?
a particular mascot missing
He's blue
last
and he
year.
runs really fast.
Oh, Sonic.
There was no Sonic game last year. And Sega said, hey, it's like Sonic. I think it was Sonic's 30th anniversary last year, or was it this year? But they said because of what was going on with the world, they had to push everything back. They're going to prepare for Sonic's anniversary, right?
Yeah.
What do you expect to see this year for Sonic and Sega? You know, do you expect Sonic to be Sonic Adventure 3? Is it going to be another Sonic Mania? What are they going to do for the Big Blues anniversary? What do you want them to do, I should say?
They have to do something this year because they didn't do anything last year.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get another Sonic Mania. Maybe. Okay. It's a tough one for me because you know, I like Sonic, but I've never really like, again, I like him and I think he's a cool character, but I've never really invested in his games like that. So, you know, or at least as of late. So, okay. I don't know.
Well, you're a bad person. No, I'm joking. For me personally, I want to see Sonic Adventure 3. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube many, many years ago when I was a little kid. Absolutely love that game with the Chao Garden where you could raise your Chows. To this day, I still play the Chao Garden on my GameCube. I want an open world Sonic Adventure 3 style game. Make it happen. That's my prediction for Sega and Sonic. I know a lot of you are going to ask me because I'm a big Persona head. Sega owns Atlus. Atlus had a pretty fantastic year last year. They started off with Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Persona 5 Royal midway through, and then Prandy's game that he played that's really good by Vanillaware, published by Atlus, Aegis Rim.
Yes.
And he even got nominated for a game, not Game of the Year, but a Game Award. Heard it was a very fantastic game, right up my alley. I need to pick it up. So Atlus had a really damn good year. So I know a lot of you want to see more Persona, a Persona 6 announcement, maybe remake announcements. I think we're going to get Persona 5 Strikers, guys. I'm going to preface this. We're going to get Persona 5 Strikers in February, which we already know. I think we're going to get Shin Megami 3 Remaster, because that game, I think, already came out in Japan, so they're getting ready to port that over here in America. And I think we'll actually see Shin Megami Tensei 5 possibly launched this year here. Maybe in the West. We'll see. But I think Atlus will have another pretty stellar year. Announcement-wise, the director that did Tokyo Mirage Sessions said, and Digital Devil Saga, if you guys know that about Shin Megami Tensei, said he was announcing a new game pretty soon. So whatever that is, it could be a Tokyo Mirage Sessions 2, which would be awesome. I know a lot of you would hate that, but I think it would be really cool if they did do another one. So I don't know what they're going to do on that. It could be a Persona 3, a Persona 4 remake. Maybe. I don't know. Studio Zero, which I think is doing Project Re-Fantasy, which was the director for Persona 5. I apologize if I sound like I'm rambling, Lou. Persona 5, he is working on a new game. He's been working on a new game for 4 years. I think there's supposed to be news. What's up, Shannon? How are you doing? There's supposed to be news about it this year. But I think if we're going to get any more Persona announcements, I think it's going to be Persona 5 Arena. I think that will be the next one. Arc System Works has been really busy with Dragon Ball FighterZ and Guilty Gear Strive, and then they did what's it called, Grand Blue Fantasy as well. I don't know how big that company is, so I don't know what others, but I don't think there's going to be a Persona 6 announcement, guys. I know you guys want to, but I don't know. My gut feeling is leading, probably not right now, but I think it would all be really cool. I thought the Sega one would be a funny one to talk about because I was interested to see what Lou would say about Sonic. But I want to thank Skip to my Lou, my brother from another mother, for joining me on the first pod of 2021. We'll hopefully get you another one next week. I'm going to try to wrangle JJ and Lou up, and we'll talk about Sony First Party Studios and see what they're working on next. And make JJ cry live on stream when we hammer him Last of Us Part 2. Right, Lou?
Yeah, that's the goal.
But shout out to Lou, shout out to Joel, Shannon, everybody that stopped by and watched. I know a lot of you are going to watch this later as a pod. I appreciate all the love and support on both channels. I apologize for being a little lackluster, and both holidays are done and gone, so I'll be back on streaming and making and posting more videos, so I apologize about that. No stream on Twitch tonight, though. This is going to count as the stream for tonight and the pod. But, again, shout out to Lou. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you smash the hell out of the like button. Comment down below what you think the big three is going to do. What's Nintendo? What's Microsoft? What's Sony going to do in gaming in 2021? Are they going to bring it, or are they going to be lukewarm, or are they going to have some fun surprises? Let us know down below. Follow my Twitch down below. We hit affiliate there. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we'll up the production value a little bit in 2021. We'll see. I know it's tough times for everybody. I appreciate all the love and support. I've been your fellow Strauss fan, the GG. And Lou, we're outie.
See ya.